The Final Four Coaching Carousel and Transfer Portal edition of the College Basketball Experience on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Cut. Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's U.S.-based and available in 40 states. Head over to cut.com, that's KUTT.com, and use that promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus today. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play their fantasy pick'em all season long with 100 times in NBA, MLB, NHL, and college hoops and more. Sign up today using that promo code TCESGPN to get 100% deposit match today. And we're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, a sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download that Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com and use that promo code SGPN to get 50% off and start making smarter bets today. Welcome, everybody, to the College Basketball Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is Final Four week, but hey, you wouldn't fucking know with all these goddamn players entering the transfer portal. We got mayhem in the coaching carousel. We're here to recap all the action that we have missed over the weekend while we were watching Sweet 16 games, Elite 8 games, previewing Final Four games. We'll talk some more Final Four tomorrow. We got the NIT Final Four going on right now. Indiana State punched their ticket in the finals. That place was rocking. Robert Avila got it done. And Schwartz, potentially his last game in the championship. Seton Hall currently up 33-18 on the Georgia Bulldogs. Me, Colby, I think Noah, and NC Nick were all on Seton Hall. So let's go Pirates. But if you're wondering who's yelling at you about the freaking transfer portal, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin, also known as...
It's Mac tonight. Come on, make it Mac tonight.
Mac Tonight, baby. Welcome to Mac Tonight, Coaching Carousel and Transfer Portal Edition. Lots happened since we last talked last week. About, I think, 600 kids have hit the portal. I had, I was a couple minutes late going live because I had to do one last scroll through the old Twitter, AKX. Nobody, I don't think I'm missing anybody that hits the portal. If anybody hits the portal between now and when we end this show, just fucking put it in the chat. So shout out to the chat. Clark, Channing, Lane, Dirty, Krusty. I like that. Got a little beer emoji. Cannabis Capper doing great work over at SGPN. Daquan the Great. Like I said, Yukon Huskies. We'll talk about it. Jackson Crutcher asking where Bronny's going. Is Bronny even in the portal? I don't think Bronny's officially in the portal. I think that might have been a leak or one of these fake reports just to get some clicks. But anyway, let's talk about the guys that actually are in the transfer portal here in a minute. But before we do so, I got to get us paid and plug. Well, the SGPN Network, baby, because you're listening to College Basketball Experience, a.k.a. part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, home to 20-plus gambling podcasts, all free. I repeat, free. Free winners all season long. And this week's featuring the MLB Gambling Podcast with opening week in the Major League Baseball season. Baseball is back, and so is MLB Crew with their free daily picks and a nice podcast with their locks and dogs. And if you haven't already, get on over there, subscribe to the MLB Gambling Podcast. What are you waiting for? It's free. It is fucking free. All righty. We are back on the College Basketball Experience. Before we talk transfer portal, let's talk some coaching because there's been plenty of coaches that have been on the move since we last talked as well. The main headline was today out in LA. Rumored that the Muss Bus could be headed to LA. He's going to interview tomorrow, but the reason why he is interviewing is because Andy Enfield is headed to SMU, and he was at USC for 11 years. Went to, I think, 4 tournaments. We talked about it last week. A lot of people were kind of surprised that he would consider leaving USC for SMU. But remember, SMU is headed into the ACC, so a new era. It's not the AAC anymore. So Andy Enfield probably needed a new start as well. Obviously, they had a lot of expectations, a lot of injuries, and that kind of contributed to why they underachieved, finishing 15 and 18. But you look at what he did there in 10 years, 5 NCAA tournaments. He made an Elite Eight, the COVID year, and they're going to pay at SMU. I think they have been they do not hide that they want to be good. So looking forward to seeing Andy Enfield. I like the fit. He's kind of low maintenance. He's good with talented players. He originated from Dunk City, Florida Gulf Coast. So looking forward to seeing a new chapter for him headed over to the Stangs in the ACC. The other big name in the Big 12, and we talked about this on the Big 12 College Experience earlier, so go check out that where me, Troy, and Rush broke down the two hires. We talked about DeVries last week coming over from Drake to West Virginia. The other piece, we got Steve Lutz headed over from Western Kentucky to Oklahoma State, 3-year head coach. Did a good job at Western Kentucky in his 1 year, turned it around. It's amazing what happens when you actually get a coach that'll coach, unlike Rick Stansberry. They go to the tournament, 22-12. He's one and done. And that comes off the heels of a 47-23 campaign at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Went to 2 NCAA tournaments. I like the hire because he's a Matt Painter and Greg McDermott guy. So comes from a winning pedigree, 2 winning coaching trees there. And I think he's going to do a good job at Oklahoma State. I know he's not sexy like a lot of the Oklahoma State fans want, but hey, sometimes fucking sexy doesn't get you the win. So looking forward to seeing Lutz at what he can do for the Cowboys and get that program back where it belongs, and that's in the NCAA tournament. Chris Mack is headed to Charleston, replacing his old assistant coach, Pat Kelsey. So Chris Mack takes a year off, or was it? Did he take? I think he took 2 years off. He worked for the Field of 68 this last year. Last he coached was 21-22, so he took 2.5 years off. Louisville finished 63-36. Kind of things fell apart at the end, but really good at Xavier before that. He's taken over a juggernaut. I mean, we talked about it all the time, how good that Charleston job is with the facilities, with the resources. I don't see them taking a step back. I think he's a good fit. I know he's got a home down in Florida, so Charleston not too far away. He is from the great state of Ohio, so he's not really a South Carolina guy, but I mean, he was an assistant at Wake Forest. South Carolina's not too far from Wake Forest, and honestly, regional recruiting doesn't even mean that much with everybody just dipping into the portal. So Chris Mack is back, proven winner. Like I said, 278 and 133. He was awesome at Xavier, won 70% of his game, 70% of his Big East games. So like the fit there. That kind of actually put an end to those dominoes falling. Drake, we talked about DeVries going to West Virginia. In comes Ben McCollum. Ben McCollum finally gets his shot at a Division I high major job, or not high major, but a Division I job. McCollum is a Iowan, so I love the fit here. McCollum did wonders at Northwest Missouri State. Everybody knows him for winning 81% of his games. Runs really good offense. They're going to be an entertaining team. They're in the tournament every fucking year. So love that he's getting a shot here in his home state of Iowa. I expect Drake to continue to be good. His playing career was at North Iowa Community College, Northwest Missouri State, where he was the last 15 years, where he's 394-91. Looking forward to seeing the McCollum era on top of the DeVries era that just was very successful at Drake. A hire that I was a big fan of was Preston Spradlin, going over from Moorhead to James Madison. I think this is an underrated hire. Byington, we talked about it, went to Vanderbilt last week. That opened up the JMU job. In comes Preston Spradlin, went to 2 NCAA tournaments. The 1 year we played them at West Virginia. They gave us a game with Johnny Broom, who's now at Auburn, the big guy. But he does a good job, 140 and 109. He was an interim coach, earned the job. I'm looking forward to seeing how they build off of this. I think JMU is quietly going to become a Utah State, where they're going to be coach-proof because of their facilities, their fan base, and just and the direction that athletic department has gone. So I look for Preston Spradlin to get things going and parlay this into potentially a Power 5 job here in 4 or 5 years. He does a good job at JMU, just like Byington did after taking over from Georgia Southern. couple other ones that have kind of under the radar. Scott Nagy, longtime Wright State coach. Before that, he was at South Dakota. He's going over to the Salukis, and I don't know if people know that he's almost won 600 games in his career. So Nagy going over to Southern Illinois. I have no reason to think that he won't win there. He won at South Dakota State when they were in Division II. He won in the Summit League with the Jackrabbits. Then he goes over to the Horizon. He wins at Wright State. Now he's going to go to the Missouri Valley, and I think he'll get it going there in Carbondale. So 577 and 332. He leaves a good program there at Wright State. Wright State and Western Kentucky, I should note, talking about going back to two jobs we've already discussed, are promoting within. Wright State is promoting Clint Sargent, who was a longtime assistant since I think 2016 or 17 with Scott Nagy. He played for him at South Dakota State. So promote within, you do a good job. No reason to believe that this program won't continue to win in the Horizon. And then at Western Kentucky, they are promoting Hank Plona. I can't pronounce his name, but highly respected guy in the industry. He won, I think, 87% of his games at Indian Hills, a junior college. So I would imagine that he's going to continue to win there. They're going to get jukes. They're going to continue to recruit at a high level, and they always got money at Western Kentucky. So good to see mid-major programs winning and rewarding their guys for turning around their program, winning at a high level. So Plona and Sargent get the nods there, get the promotions at Wright State and Western Kentucky. I'm sorry. A guy that's going over from San Diego State to Long Beach to replace Dan Monson is Chris Acker. He was with Brian Dutcher for, I think, 5 years. Before that, he was with Boise State. So a Mountain West guy that's been successful, 2 successful programs. I would imagine that they're going to get back to a more defensive culture, working for San Diego State and Boise State with Rice and Dutcher. Hard to knock the hire. Anybody that gets hired from San Diego State usually turns out well. So Acker, we'll see how he pans out, getting a Big West job with the Long Beach Dirtbags. Josh Loeffler is headed over to Loyola, Maryland. He was an assistant at Cincinnati. He was an assistant, I think, a decade ago or 5 years ago at Loyola, Maryland, so returning home. Syracuse Orange fans, here's a name. I know we talked about it last week that it could happen. Jerry McNamara is taking over the Siena Saints. So, when the Saints go marching in, are hiring Jerry McNamara from Syracuse. Interesting hire. I mean, McNamara, he's been in the industry since his playing career ended, I think 5-6 years ago. He's a Syracuse guy, upstate New York guy. Looking forward to seeing him kind of start his coaching career like Greg Paulus. Greg Paulus has been good in that league this last year in the MAAC. So now we got McNamara in the MAAC. So McNamara, Paulus twice a year. Looking forward to it. One of my favorite hires is Utah State. We talked about it's winning proof there. They win no matter what, whether it's Craig Smith, he wins, he goes to Utah. They hire Ryan Odom. He wins a couple years and goes to VCU. Then they hire Danny Sprinkle. Now they're hiring Jarrod Calhoun, who is a Hugs guy on the Hugs tree. Jarrod Calhoun did an unbelievable job at Youngstown State. 7 years, 118 and 105, and that place was a complete shithole when he took over the job. So from him literally building that thing from in the basement in 2017 to where it is now, finishing first and second back-to-back years, 15-5 in league play, 14-6 this last year. Couldn't get over the hump and get to the dance, but he's going to do so at Youngstown or at Utah State. Good fit. It's winning proof there with that fan base. So Calhoun gets the nod, gets a nice promotion here. He'll be a high major coach here, Power 5 job. Maybe in 2 years with the way that Odom and Sprinkle parlayed that Utah State job. So looking forward to seeing the Calhoun era out in Logan. And the final domino, which means Youngstown State opened, meaning Ethan Faulkner, who was with Jarrod Calhoun, I think, since 2018. He's a Northern Kentucky guy. He gets the nod. He gets the promotion. So we got 3 mid-major jobs that promote within after winning. Love to see that. So I expect Youngstown State to continue to win in the Horizon, be a top 4, top 5 team. So something to monitor. Jobs that are open. Obviously, USC is the sexy one right now. We talked about it. The Muss Bus. potentially going there. He interviews tomorrow. We'll see if it actually happens. Sometimes a sexy name is not the one that actually gets a job. So we'll be here every step of the way to see who actually gets it. Canisius still technically open. Cornell's technically open. The hospital's open. Who was Fresno State's interviewing guys? That's still open. What else is open? Morehead State with Spradlin going over James Madison. Pepperdine's still open. St. Louis is open for the time being, even though we know pretty much that Schwartz is going from Indiana State to St. Louis as soon as the NIT. So probably on Thursday, we'll hear the news that Schwartz is headed to Indiana State, and I would anticipate a majority of his guys will follow suit. And I believe, Rio Grande, the Mexicans is open. This one just broke, I think, an hour ago that Washington State just hired a guy, and it's the Eastern Washington head coach, Riley, who did a great job. David Riley, he did a great job. Obviously, they came up short in the tournament back-to-back years, losing as a 1 seed. But, I mean, you look at what Riley was able to do in his, short 2 years at Eastern Washington. He finished, I'm pulling it up right now. 3 years, 18-16, 23-11, 21-11, won the league back-to-back years in the Big Sky. I would imagine that Eastern Washington's going to promote within, my guess, just because that's what they did with Riley. He started as a GA, then was an assistant coach. But yeah, I mean, this is he and who was before him? It was the guy in Seattle. It was Liggins, yeah. Shante Liggins, they won with the Groves brothers. Took Kansas to the wire in the NCAA tournament. Sorry, he's at Portland. So I would imagine they promoted within 3 years ago. And I would imagine that they're going to promote within. I got to dig who most likely will be the guy that will get promoted. But I like the Riley hire. I think sometimes we fall in love too much with the guy that won the NCAA tournament games. Riley had some bad luck losing to Northern Arizona, and then he lost to Sac State this last year. So the fucking 10 seeds in the Big Sky were his kryptonite. Wazoo's a WCC team now. Reminder everybody, them in Oregon State in basketball because the Pac-12 folded. Look, we'll see what happens. Multiple guys. The guy at Montana State turned down the job, apparently. That's a rumor. But Riley, I like the fit going from Eastern Washington to Pullman and continuing the tradition. He's a young guy, innovative guy. So we'll look forward to seeing the Riley era begin in Pullman. And obviously on this podcast, we pull for Washington State. So go Cougs. Also, go Cut. So Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's U.S.-based and available in 40 states. Peer-to-peer social betting is a better way to do so. If you wanted Seton Hall, you should have went over there to Cut and battled whoever the hell wanted Georgia because Seton Hall is beating the brakes off them. Download that Cut app today in the App Store and get over there at cut.com. That's KUTT.com. Promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus today. And we're brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play alongside your favorite players, teams all season long over at Underdog Fantasy. We gave out a nice higher, lower on Underdog today. We liked the Vila higher. We liked who did we like in the second game? I'm trying to remember who we liked. It was the Seton Hall guard. We liked his higher points and rebounds. So looking whenever this championship game does come out, we'll look to hammer the higher lowers for the championship game between Indiana State. And it looks like it's going to be Seton Hall. We gave out one for the Final Four as well with Sears. We gave it out with Edie. And I think we also gave it out with Cam Spencer. So those were the three. Go check out our daily, our DFS lineups as well. But stack winners, higher or lower. You can get 6 to 7-1 payouts over at Underdog Fantasy. They've been great all season long. And use that promo code TCESGPN to get a 100%, double your deposit up to $100. That's pickup special. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com in the App Store or register with the promo code TCESGPN to get first deposit match up to $100. instantly. Pick 'em special and must be 18 or older, present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern play. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit www.ncpgambling.org. We are back on the college basketball experience. Got to get a swing of some vodka, baby. Shout out to the chat. All right, so we touched on the coaching carousel. Let's get on over to the transfer portal that's, I shouldn't even say fucking heating up. It's been heated up. 1,200 names in there. It's not even the final fucking four. What in the hell are we doing in society? Fran Fischel put out a great tweet today. Keep in mind that a lot of these coaches are entering because their coach got fired. I quoted it. A lot of these guys are the reason that their fucking coach got fired. So be aware of who you're taking in the portal, coaches. Grass is not always greener on the other side. Like I said last week, I'm not going to touch on each name that went into the portal. If I did that, we'd be here until the fucking final four tips on Saturday. But instead, let's talk about the guys that have committed since last week. And the early winners of the portal, or early splash in the portal, is obviously Kansas Jayhawks. Get 2 commits, 2 guys, 2 guards with size. Zeke Mayo, the Summit Player of the Year. He grew up in Lawrence, averaged 19 points a game, 4 assists, 6 rebounds, 40% from the three-point line. Kansas struggled to make shots. There's your fucking cure right here. Zeke Mayo is headed back home to Lawrence to be a Kansas Jayhawk. Bill Self said, what was his exact quote after they got their ass beat? I've been thinking about next year for about a month. Well, here you go. Zeke Mayo's coming, and so is Riley Kugel, coming over from Florida. I know Noah talked about how he kind of fell out of the graces with the coaching staff at Florida, but Kansas recruited him in high school. He's talented. He's a big guard as well. It seems like he'll fill the Kevin McCullough spot, or he's going to be one of the guys by committee that's going to do so. I don't think Kansas is done. Kansas has bowed out in the round of 32 back-to-back years. They've hit it early and often. This is one of the perks, I guess, of getting bounced early is you get a head start on the portal. So Bill Self striking gold early with Zeke Mayo and Riley Kugel, headed over to the Jayhawks. Shout out to the chat. Cannabis Capper. Yes, November. Can't get here fast enough. I can't wait till the portal's done and we know where everybody's going. Speaking of portal, speaking of knowing where everybody's going, and speaking of going back home, Michi Johnson is going to be a Buckeye again. So kind of a fallout from the Chris Holtmann era. Michi Johnson was a Buckeye for 2 years. He's an Ohio kid, goes down to South Carolina, helps Lamont Paris get things going. He's going back. He entered the portal recently. He had a really good career at South Carolina, averaged 14 points a game, 4 rebounds. He was on that Ohio State team that was in the NCAA tournament 2 years ago, both tournament teams. So they bring back Michi Johnson, a guard, for his 5th year coming back. It's my favorite when they leave and come back. So Michi Johnson is a Buckeye, and for Jake Diebler. So obviously Jake Diebler is has a positive impact with the players, and probably obviously one of the main reasons he got the job. Lynn Kidd, the big kid from Virginia. Lynn Kidd, the big kid. That rhymes. Lynn Kidd, the big man from Virginia Tech, is, well, headed in within the ACC. He's going over to Miami. I would think he's going to slide right in at that 5-man position for Norchad Omier. Larinaga hated his team. Lynn Kidd, I liked Lynn Kidd at Virginia Tech. He's a active big. Averaged 13 and 7 for why am I drawing the blank on my man from Virginia Tech, the head coach? Mike Young. I don't know why I forgot Mike Young's name for a second, but 13 and 7. Mike Young obviously likes to play 4-round-1. A lot of room for Kidd to operate, just like Larinaga. He'll translate. He's played the ACC, started his career at Clemson, active. So 6'10", good size. Good fit for Larinaga in that 4-round-1 offense. In the Big 12 / AC or SEC, Cam Carter's going from Kansas State to LSU. He actually started his career at Mississippi State, then came over in Tang's first year. He averaged 15 and 5. He's a combo guard, athletic. This is a good get for McMahon over at LSU, an active guard that's been a part of a winning program in K-State. He's a Louisiana kid, I believe. So another kid going back for his 4th or 5th year to be more around his family, I guess. So Cam Carter, the guard from Kansas State, going over to play for LSU and Matt McMahon, and pivotal year for Matt McMahon as well. It is his 3rd year down in Baton Rouge, so he needs to win this year, or potentially we're going to be talking about LSU on the coaching carousel next year. Josh Cohen over from UMass to Arkansas. He started at St. Francis, PA, 6'8", 6'9" kid. He's not really super athletic. Average 16 and 7. We'll see if he's still at Arkansas here in the next 48 hours if the Muss Bus heads over to USC. But, I mean, it's not a bad piece. Not a guy that can make shots. Obviously, Arkansas's got a really good NIL collective, so I'm sure he got a nice little bag of cash, just like these other 5 names that I talked about at Miami, LSU, Ohio State, and Kansas. They all fucking pay. So Cohen, I'm sure, got paid. He played for Frank Martin. Had an all right year. He kind of fell up and down. I don't know if he really was the biggest Frank guy, just because he's more of a finesse big. So interested to see how he translates to Arkansas or USC or wherever he goes. Or maybe Muss Bus stays at Arkansas and he plays for Arkansas. Clark said maybe he goes to Notre Dame. Where's he from, Clark? I know he started his career at St. Francis, PA, and really overachieved. So Josh Cohen is he's from New Jersey. So, I mean, maybe he goes to Rutgers for all I fucking know. Although it sounds like Rutgers NIL collective isn't the best, even though their high school class is going to be loaded. Good point. Good point about Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury has a guy in the portal that's open to returning as well. That's my favorite when they leave and they say I'm open, aka they want to see how much cash they can get. Speaking of a guy that likes to chase a bag of cash, his name is Eddie Lampkin. Started at TCU, went to Colorado. Now he's going to the ACC. He didn't want to come back to that Big 12 where he left, and he's going to go to the ACC, go to Syracuse Orange. Everybody knows Lampkin. Active, emotional, big, physical. He's battled a lot of ankle injuries, so I don't know how much. He's got a lot of miles on those tires. But, I mean, he's a guy that's played in multiple NCAA tournaments in multiple programs at TCU and Colorado now. Good get for Altry over there at Syracuse. So looking forward to seeing how he uses the big fella. Maybe they'll go back to playing 2-3 zone. Maybe he's the next DJ Burns, Eddie Lampkin. So looking forward to seeing how he fits with the Orange. Catching Nazi, going over from Xavier to Penn State. He just played 1 year, average 3 points a game. He's going to join Mike Rhodes at Penn State. Under the radar here, Nate Heiss, going in-state, baby. Going from Northern Iowa to Iowa State. The associate head coach, A.J. Green's dad, was an associate head coach for Ben Jacobson at Northern Iowa. So maybe this had a little bit to do so. I like this fit because I like when the Northern Iowa guys go to Iowa State or Iowa. They know the culture. He averaged 13 points a game, 6'5", 6'6" wing guard, makes shots, 37% from 3. Older, 6 rebounds a game. So he'll fit right in with Iowa State, in my opinion. Iowa State lost a bunch of guys in the portal, so they're reloading the roster, especially their freshman class from last year. Derek Simpson's headed over from Rutgers to St. Joe's. Average 8 points a game, 3 rebounds. A solid get for St. Joe's. This one was big for Mike Young. Getting Jordan Ivy Curry from UT San Antonio, the coaching change that opened up his recruitment again, 17 points a game, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 40% from 3, 6'4" guard that is going to be playing his 5th year in Blacksburg. So looking forward to seeing how Ivy Curry. This is a big year for Mike Young. We talked about Mike Young. He's been solid, but they need to get back to the NCAA tournament. And the final one, Jake Davis is going from Mercer. He played 1 year there, coaching change. He's going over to Illinois to play for Brad Underwood. So yeah, I mean, that kind of does it for the portal. real quick before we talk. Let's talk about Manscaped. It's time to get some spring cleaning done for all you men out there at Manscaped and grooming, and get that carpet going, baby, with the Lawnmower 5.0 to watch your confidence broom with them springtime flowers and daisies and roses. Embrace the season and join over 10 million men worldwide with Manscaped with our official offer. Go over to manscaped.com and use that promo code SGPN for 20% off and free shipping. Got to get the free shipping. Yeah, they got LED lights. They got everything. They got freaking LeBaron proof with Noah Beanick. They got the Beard Hedger Pro Kit Handyman. It's even waterproof. So if you fucking get drunk like myself and you fucking drop it in your drink or spill some whiskey on it, it still fucking works like a freaking new machine. So get on over there. 20% off free shipping with the code SGPN at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code SGPN at manscaped.com. Nothing like a little spring cleaning in your pants. So get on over there and get that freaking bush cleaned up over at Manscaped. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NBA season with Hall of Fame Bets, a sports betting analytic platform for parlays, props, and game lines. Research every NBA soccer with historical data and stats. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft a more intelligent, data-driven parlay. Download that Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. Shout out to the chat. Clark says, Edie gets a Manscaped with that chick that he had in that room. Yeah, fucking Edie. Edie's going to fucking need that. Foul on the fucking Manscaped. Well, Edie was fucking shaving his fucking bush. So, anyway. So that does it for the portal. Obviously, a shitload of names hit the portal today. For example, Kirk Kriisa hit the portal today again, leaving West Virginia. I know Storr is in the portal right now. I'm sorry, I'm pulling it up, get it off, committed. AJ Storr, it sounds like he's going to go to Illinois. You get the big fellow from Rutgers still out there, Amiri. Kobe Johnson from USC. Garrison hit the portal when Lutz got the job from Oklahoma State. You got the Stanford kids in there. Fuck, everybody at Oklahoma's transferring. McCollum, Uzin, Owe, all those guys are transferring. TCU's losing some guys. Trying to see who else hit the portal. Doug McDaniel's still out there, although it sounds like we'll get a decision on his here in a little bit. Yeah, the big fella. Like I said, Iowa State got ambushed after their season ended with Omaha Baloo. He left. Yeah, Hughley's out there for Oklahoma. Hamilton for Iowa State. This isn't even fucking free agency. This is just fucking fantasy basketball at this fucking point. Pegues is out there for Furman. We love him. Little guard that fucking got shit done in the tournament. Won a lot of games for that great program. RJ Davis at Butler. Mike Peavy, TCU. We talked about it. Terrence Edwards, the Sun Belt Player of the Year. Tony Perkins. I love Tony Perkins' game over at Iowa. Tough, physical point guard. He'll be a good fit. All the FAU guys hit the portal finally, led by the big fella Vlad. You got Nick Boyd leaving. Kerry Booth for Notre Dame. Talked about him already. Michael Brown-Jones for Greensboro. He was really good as well. He's in the portal. So, like I said, man, if I went through all the fucking names in the portal, I'd be talking until the fucking game tipped on Saturday night at 6:09 Eastern between Purdue and NC State. Speaking of the Final Four, we are back tomorrow night. Me, Noah Beanick, and then we're going to have some guests on from some of these Final Four teams, some of the local guys, just to get their perspective, how we got here, what they're looking forward to in the matchup. Maybe get their angle on how they want to bet the game. So make sure your notifications are turned on the College Basketball Experience. They got a special guest on the main Sports Gambling Podcast Network here later. So make sure you subscribe to that channel. College football's ramping up. That portal's fucking ramping up. So get over there, subscribe, follow Colby, NC Nick, Patty C. I know they're breaking down the schedules. FCS Experience, Big 12. We just broke down that at all. We're going to talk college baseball with Noah Beanick here soon. Go check out College Baseball Experience. Go check it all out. All out, baby. I'm just here to keep you updated, informed on the Carousel portal. For right now, we're gonna just follow the guys that are committing left and right. At the end, we'll start giving out some rankings, some early preseason rankings, as this is going to turn into a year-round show. We talked about that last week, so we're not going anywhere. I know we can't bet on games every single night in college basketball, unfortunately, but doesn't mean we can't talk about it and who we like in the preseason. We'll have so many goddamn preseason episodes that when we get to November 6th, you'll be able to say anything when it comes to the MAAC, the Southland, the Big West, all these great leagues that are way undercovered in this country. So that's all I got, guys. I will be back with Noah Beanick tomorrow. Colby maybe, but I know he has college football on Wednesday, so we will do the game previews for the 2 Final Four games, and maybe we'll knock out another coaches and portal episode. I mean, like I said, the Muss Bus may depart for USC. That would open up Arkansas. We could talk who could get the Arkansas job. We could talk about it all. So that's all I got tonight. This is the College Basketball Experience. I am Moneyline Mac. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
It's Mac Night.